my name's Tuppence. I'm continuing on with my fruit theme this week. I'm going to use this apple mould. It's a lidded pot and I think I got this from Temu. There's a saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And so on that theme, I think this would make a great medication pot. And I want this to be something special. So I'm going to be using some chrome powders, some rhinestone ribbons, some flowers. I'm going to make it so pretty. Think Faberge egg pretty. I want this to look like something from a fairy tale. Because I want to get a jeweled effect on this, I'm going to be using some chrome powders to colour the mould. So I've got the red chrome powder, these are from Resin, and I've mixed two colours together to make a lighter green. So I mixed the gold and the green together. I needed the lighter green for my watermelon bowl, and this is what I have left over, so now I'm going to use it on this. I'm going to start by turning my mould inside out, and then I can apply the colour to the surface. I'm going to start applying the green first, and I only want a small area of that. I want to keep it away from this part of the mould because that's where the lid is going to join, and I want it to look like a continuous piece. So I'm just going to colour in a patch. This is going to make it look like it hasn't quite finished ripening. Just fade that out towards the edges by using my finger to rub that on. Really, really pretty. It polishes it in. All right, let me clean off my brush on the back of my glove. I'm just going to move that over there so I don't get any of the powder on that for a minute. And now I just simply have to colour the whole rest of this mould in the red. I'm going to make sure that I go over the top of that green, and anywhere that the green is not covering the mould will pick up the red. So I'm just going to polish this in. I'm already loving the way that those two colours are looking together. I find it's quicker and easier to use my gloved finger to polish this onto the mould, and just need to use the brush where the rim is because of the tight angles. Although this is obviously sped up, it really doesn't take that long to do, and the effect is magic. I love that mirror shine, and it almost looks like a vintage ornament. So I'm just polishing over the surface to make sure that there's no loose powder left and everything is covered, and then I can turn the mould back the right way round. I scratched a little bit off with my thumb, so I just need to smooth over, and I'm going to run my fingers around the inside just to make sure that I haven't missed any other bits. Before I add the red to the lid, I need to colour the leaf and the sprig. I'm going to be using the gold for the little stalk, and because it's quite a deep, small area, I've changed to a smaller brush. So I'm just going to get right down to the bottom and try and make sure that it is all covered. I've put quite a lot of powder inside there, so I will need to get rid of that excess. I'm going to try and tip out most of it. There's still a little bit in there, so I'm just going to take that off to the side and blow into the mould and make sure that I get rid of any of that loose powder. Okay, the loose powder's gone, but I do need to clean up all of the powder that is stuck to the surface. So I'm going to use a baby wipe, and the brand that I use is 99% water, and it's really good at picking up the powder off of the mould. So I'm going to concentrate especially underneath that lip. And then I'll take a paper towel and I'm just going to dab the mould to get rid of any water droplets and help it to dry out quicker. I don't want to put any powder on there when it's still wet. Okay, I'm going to use that same paper towel to clean off my brush, and then I can use that to apply the green onto the leaf. I'm going to use that same mixture of green that I put on the apple. Try and gently fill in the leaf, and that way I don't have too much of a cleanup. I'm trying not to use too much powder, but I do have a little bit of loose powder dropping into the stalk, but that should be fine. All right, there's a little bit of cleanup to do just around the edge, but that wasn't bad. So I'm just going to go back in with that baby wipe. Make sure I get right under the lip. Because the leaf is recessed, I'm not taking off the powder on it, I'm just cleaning up around the outside. That looks okay. Now it's really important that I dry this before I try and add the red chrome powder, because if it's slightly damp, it will cause it to form a paste and it will not stick to the mould properly. The rest of this just needs to be coated in the red. So I'm going to make sure that I work this brush right up underneath that lip and get all of this coloured. And as long as I have no gaps or breaks in the colour, it will match the rest of the pot and it will look like one continuous piece. So I'm pushing that brush right up underneath that lip. Got quite a lot of powder in there. Pull that back, make sure that it is all covered, and then I'm going to use my gloved fingers to polish that in and remove any excess powder. Okay, that looks really good. I am loving that green and red together. It's perfect. So this is now ready for the resin. I need to go ahead and mix that up. The resin I'm using is from JDiction, and I'm going to use some red pigment also by JDiction to colour it. I'm just going to put a couple of drops in, maybe 3, and then I can mix this round. And because this was mixed by a machine, I want to make sure that I scrape the edges and the bottom just to catch any of the resin that the machine might have missed. Get that all mixed through, and that is looking pretty good. I've chosen to colour the resin red just in case I've got any holes in the chrome powder that I've got on my mould. That way it should disguise it a little bit. I just need to do a very quick clean up. Let's get rid of that as well. I'm going to put these both on that middle bit. That way I know that they're nice and level. And then I can start to fill up the mould. I'm going to put a little bit of resin into the bottom of the apple first. And then I'm going to try and drop some down into that stalk. As I say, it's quite deep and it does curve very slightly. I'm going to gently squeeze the bottom, and I'm tipping it slightly so that the curve is more upright and the bubbles can come out. I'm going to do the same around the bottom of the apple. Just squeeze gently to discourage any bubbles, and then I can fill up the rest of the moulds. I mixed up 160 mils, so that should be more than enough for both of these. Just need to top them up. Okay, that's fine. I've definitely got more than enough. I'm going to have a little bit left over. I'll throw that into a flower mould or something afterwards. But in the meantime, I've got a couple of bubbles on the surface and bubbles that are going to continue to rise up. So I'm going to pop those with a torch. I'll do that over the next couple of minutes, 10 minutes or so. I've got something on the surface of here, a bit of dust or something, so I'm just going to hook that out. But I don't really want to take the microbrush stick underneath the edges to weed out the bubbles, because that can scratch off that chrome powder. So I'm just going to babysit these, pop the bubbles. I'm going to leave them for about an hour and a half, and then I'm going to put the G3 on and accelerate their curing. So I'll be back when I am ready to demould. These have cured really nicely and they're all cooled down. So I can get them out of the mould. I can see one bubble there. And yeah, looks like I've got another one. So I've got a couple of bubbles, but they're underneath at the bottom, so you're not going to see them from the top. Just got a little hole in the chrome powder there too. But that's nothing to worry about because I'm going to cover a lot of that up. So I can try and get the upper out. Now this is not a flexible mould, and this is going to give me a little bit of a workout. So I'm just going to break the seal all the way around by pulling the mould away from the sides. Then I can flip it upside down and pull the mould away. And I love it. I love that green colour. Chrome powders never fail to amaze me. So I'm going to turn that mould back the right way round quickly, and you can see that it does look a little bit stained. I need to wash it, but even if it stains, it won't affect future mouldings. Now that I have my base, I get to do the fun part and decorate it. So these are rhinestones on an adhesive backing, and it came as a ribbon. I've just cut them into strips 1 stone wide. If I peel off the backing paper, you can see that the glue is a thick gel. It's really strong and very flexible. So that's going to allow me to stick this onto the pot and create a pattern of swirls that go all the way around. I don't have a plan in mind, so I'm just going to wing it and create a random pattern. I'm using my thumb to press the stones in place and to try and guide it so that I get smooth curves. As I mentioned, this glue is really strong, so once I've got it in place, it's not that easy to remove. I use these stones on a hair clip that I've used in my hair almost daily for the past 5 years, and the stones still look really good. So I'm not worried about these not being strong enough to stick in place. I've put the lid on so I can put some rhinestones on the lid and take it down over the edge of the pot. Then I'll use a pair of scissors to snip where they join. I'm going to carry on placing the stones and creating a pattern that goes all the way around the apple. Sorry for the blurriness, my camera was having a real problem focusing, so I've gone ahead and put on the rest of the strips, and this is what I've got so far. The top will line up as long as I put it in the right direction. But because these are on a thick gel strip, it's sticky on the sides, so I need to deal with that by adding a little bit of glitter. Now if I put the glitter on there, that is going to stick to all of the sides, anywhere that there is exposed glue. It will stop it from being sticky and it will add to that bling factor. So I'm just going to use a brush to go all the way around and coat everything in the glitter. I've got it on top of a piece of copy paper. That way I can pick everything up afterwards and put it back in my pot. It's really not going to take a lot of glitter at all, but it will look amazing. And it will stop it from picking up any dust or dirt. So I just need to go all the way around and brush off the excess pieces. And I don't know if you can see the difference, but it really does increase the shine. Everything is now glittered and I've cleaned all of that off. I've moved my camera angle, so I hope you're going to get a better view. I've got this super glue from Green Stuff World and I'm going to be using it to stick down some flowers. I've got 2 different sizes, they're all white. I've got mini ones which are nail charms and these larger ones are beads. I've also got some white leaves. Rather than putting the glue on the bead, I'm going to put it where I want it to be on the pot. So I'm just putting a dot down and then I can place this on top. That's going to balance there, so I'm just going to leave that for 30 seconds or so. It should glue itself in place. I'm also going to do the same with the smaller ones, except I'm going to pick those up with the tweezers so that I don't glue myself to the pot. Just hold that in place. If you've got an activator for the super glue, it will be really quick. That's looking pretty good. So now I just need to keep going around and gluing these where I want them. bit of a gap in the pattern, so I'm just going to cut another strip of the rhinestones off. And you can see how easily they cut with scissors. And then I can fill in this space just by adding another strip and swirl. So you can see this one a little bit more clearly. I've managed to get the camera to focus. Just need to try and get a gentle curve, so I'm curving it around my thumb, pressing down the glue strip. You can't really do a very sharp corner, but you can get gentle sweeps. So I'm going to bring that to tuck down in there, and I can snip off the excess with my scissors and then tuck that in place. Now I can add a dot of glue at the end of that strip. Whoops. And I'm going to glue on one of the large flowers. So I just try and twist that round so it looks like it's coming out of that stem, if you like. Hold that in place until it sets, and that's filled in that gap. So this is what it looks like so far. I just need to add some leaves. These are nail art charms, and I'm using a tool from a diamond painting kit to pick them up. Then I can dip them into a dot of super glue that I've put onto a piece of plastic. Just need to press them in place, and I'm going to put them around the flowers. Some may have just one leaf and others may have two. So again, I'm going to put the music on and just add the leaves. So I've just got a few more leaves to put in place, and the biggest problem I'm having is with the wax that is on the tip of this pickup tool. It keeps falling out. But I think this has worked pretty well, and it really has made so much of a difference. I'm loving the way that this looks now. Okay, I think that's it. Here it is, a jeweled apple that I think is fit for a fairy tale princess. I really love this, and it looks amazing. It looks complicated, but it really isn't. It's just a case of sticking things on. I really love this. I hope that you really love this. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, comment, share, hype if you can, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't. It's free to you. It will really help my channel, and you'll be able to come back and see what I'm going to make next time. To all my new subscribers, I'd like to say welcome and thank you. And to anybody who comments and likes my videos, thank you so much. It really does mean everything. I'm going to leave you with some photos. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.